Hello and welcome. As part of Times Now Digital's campaign, highlighting the importance of consumer awareness as far as manufacturing and expiry dates on e-commerce and quick commerce platforms are concerned, we speak to Revant Hematsingka, more popularly known as FoodPharmer, founder of Only What's Needed, and a health advocate as well. Revant, thank you for your time. Do you think e-commerce and quick commerce platforms have made it far more difficult for consumers to access important details such as manufacturing dates and expiry dates?
Yeah, I think I do agree they have made it harder. It's because it's not intentional per se, but earlier when you used to go to a store, you could just simply pick up a pack and read the expiry date, ingredients, and all of that. But now that it's on a website, sometimes they forget to add the photo of their manufacturing date, expiry date, or it's on the 10th. There are 10 separate photos they've installed, and most of them are marketing. So, in the 10th photo would be the expiry date, and people will not see it. And so that's the challenge. Earlier when it was happening in a store, you could pick up a pack and see it. But now, because it's happening on a website, it's sometimes omitted.
What, to your mind, is the biggest problem then in showing the manufacturing and expiry dates as far as these platforms are concerned?
There are various problems. I think first of all, they like companies put it in the end of their portfolio. For the first few pages will all be marketing, and in the end, somewhere you will have to find, and it'll be towards there. So what I recommend is that can they put it slightly in the beginning, maybe in the first or second photo or third photo, can the manufacturing and expiry date and all be there? And another problem is that many for the companies, the expiry date they are often guessing because no one knows the actual exact expiry date for any batch. So there are many times where the manufacturing dates or the expiry dates are incorrect. Sometimes there are also cases for some company that are showing a future manufacturing date, and the consumers complain to me that today is, for example, July 2026, but the date of manufacturing will be August 2026, and they've received the product already. So there's a lot of inaccuracies also.
Right. So now that you've noticed these inaccuracies, how do you think they can be tackled, Raven, at the core?
I think just that there needs to be stronger, audit, stronger checks by the companies themselves. Sometimes, they are chasing sales numbers and various other things, but the basic operations, the basic things are overlooked. So I think they just need a bit of stronger operations, stronger checks and balances and all of that. And also, I feel like some of the penalties regarding inaccuracies and all can increase so that companies take this more seriously.
Right, penalties should be increased or mounted, is what you're suggesting. So companies take this more seriously. Now, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India has issued advisories to these online platforms to display key product details, including manufacturing and expiry dates. Now, do you think this has been effective, or there really is room for more?
I mean, of course, it is a good step. I won't say it's not a good step. I've seen improvements a few years ago when I used to make videos and I used to find the ingredient list and the nutrition label. It used to be very difficult to find it online because companies would just put marketing, but they would not put their nutrition label. But now, for most products, I tend to find the nutrition label and ingredient list. Yes, I do have to make effort in finding it, and obviously, I am very well versed with where the ingredient list is usually in a package and all of that, but most people are not. So yes, it is good that it is improving. The percentage of companies showcasing these are increasing.
Right. So you have witnessed, the whole trajectory there when you were trying to inform viewers. But who then really should be held accountable for accurate product information or sometimes the quality of a product? Is it the brand, the seller, or the platform?
It's to be very honest, it's a bit of everyone is accountable in different stages. So it depends. For example, for a packaged food, like a biscuit or a noodle, I would make the food company responsible, like the food manufacturer or the brand responsible. But for something like a fresh produce, like a milk, ice cream, frozen foods, and those kind of things, where it's very like the quality is very dependent on the handling. So out there, I would blame or like put the accountability on the e-commerce or quick commerce platform, because sometimes the food company may have sent the right milk to the e-commerce platform or the quick commerce platform, but the quick commerce platform may not be storing it properly. In case of a packaged food like biscuits and noodles, the storing is slightly more simpler. Like, that there's not too many like mess ups that you can do. It's but for a milk and like the refrigerated goods is slightly more tricky. So for these kind of items, I think the e-commerce and quick commerce companies are more role to play, and it really depends on a case to case basis.
Right, it depends on a case to case basis. Now, some consumers have also raised concerns about receiving products with, remaining shelf life that is limited. With products that are, say, seeing the end of the day in, or the expiring in about 2 months or 3 months. So, what systems can be put in place on these platforms to prevent such issues?
I think some sort of a minimum shelf life, like that if your product has a 1 year shelf life, then at least there should be 4 to 5 months left of that. Some sort of a minimum, basically the e-commerce companies and like those kind of can have some rule. Of course, if a product only has a 3 month shelf life, then you cannot expect them to give a very long. Then there's no option but for them to sell it very quick. And but for a longer shelf life product, I think it's wrong to send it to the customer in the last 1 or 2 months. And this happens not only in this case, but even in medicines. There were many cases where customers bought a medicine and they realized that the expiry date was like 2 weeks later, and those kind of things. So I think it's a problem which exists outside of food industry as well. And we should also look at some of the learnings from the other industries and how they solved it. But I think there should be some sort of a minimum, basically, shelf life which should be remaining, which the platform should enforce.
Right, and it is dependent on the kind of product it is. It is case to case, like you said, so there cannot be one rule that fits all. The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution has recommended a coordinated monitoring mechanism to ensure accurate labeling and prevent misleading claims on packaged food products sold via e-commerce platforms, citing the rapid expansion of the online food sales. What would you say about this implementation?
No, I think overall I'm appreciative of it. Obviously, I don't know all the nitty-gritties of what they've done, but overall I'm appreciative of it, because if you look at what percentage of food we are eating today versus 10 years ago, a lot more is coming from online compared to 10 years ago. So as a result, there is much more regulation and all of this enforcement required. So I'm of course overall appreciative of all these changes which have been made.
Right. And the government has also eased FDI rules to allow inventory based e commerce exports. Your thoughts on that, as that is also something that's just been declared.
Yeah, I mean, I think regarding that particular case, we'll have to see how it plays out. Don't have any strong thoughts right now. We'll really have to see how it plays out in the next few months, and the like it depends all on the execution.
Right. If I had to, ask you, Revant, how will you balance the role of being a health advocate, something that you have been known for, and a brand owner now yourself? What would you say? What should consumers expect?
See, I'll always be the health advocate first. That is who I am at the core of it. And while it's technically, I am also a brand owner, the brand is also based on all the things that I vouch for. It's the same philosophy of transparency that I vouch for. So it's still, for me, it's the same thing. Like it's the same role. Even when I'm in the brand, I always say that how do we make things more and more transparent, which is why we put the nutrition label in the front, the ingredient list in the front in big font, and try to do more and more tests and things like that. So that has always been my personal goal, and I will always be a health advocate first and anything else later.
Right, always a health advocate first, wishing you well. But if I had to end with saying, Revant, if there's one message you had to give to the food regulators of India, and if there's one message you had to give to all the e-commerce platforms and quick commerce platforms, we are not targeting anyone. This is a campaign to keep consumers informed. What would you say to both?
I would I would just have the same message for all of them is like, they are essentially responsible now indirectly for the health of, or I would say for the food and nutrition of millions of Indians, because millions and millions of Indians are buying all their food from them. So it's a very, very crucial responsibility. They're a major stakeholder of health. They're not no longer just another player who's selling books and furniture and all of that. So they have to make very, very strong processes in their thing, and just the way they may incentivize, just the way they focus so much on discounting and all these offers and like notifications at midnight and trying to get you to buy more. They have to put in the same, if not more, emphasis on food safety food safety activities, ensuring that they are checking the temperature of the milk they're selling, ensuring that they're doing testing of the products they're selling, having the necessary checks. So I feel the message is focus a lot on food safety.
Right. Messages focus a lot on food safety to all stakeholders, from this popular health advocate, more popularly known as FoodPharmer. Thank you so much, Ravens, for this exclusive interaction with Times Now Digital. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you so much.